Little Caesars changed the game, bro.
They did.
Little Caesars changed. That's the most shot of shit.
Hey, Chewy, blood. They want you on the podcast, bro. Look, he Mexican, bro. You gotta put him on.
Am I interrupting your depression? I'm sorry.
This week's episode of The Voice Party is brought to you by Big Boy Wraps. Get your car wrapped by some of the most experienced and skilled in the Bay. Big Boy Wraps, where the big boys play.
Welcome to this week's episode. Why y'all always do this, man? Why y'all like this?
Welcome. Sorry.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Voice Party. I am your host. Okay, we're gonna get that. I'm back. What the fuck? All right.
Like, I'm Mr. Ed.
You're a stallion, bro. You're a stallion, don't you forget
Exactly. Welcome to this week's episode of The Voice Party. I am your host. God damn.
Welcome to the stable, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, run that back. Run that back real quick.
Hold on. Hey, okay, all right.
Mr. Ed over here.
Watch him play Old Town Road in the back. I'm gonna take my horse.
This might be an outtake we might have to do. Okay.
I'll say the word host for you.
Okay, there you go.
To the old.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right, okay. Welcome to this week's episode of The Voice Party. I am your
Host.
Corday Snell, and with me I have the amazing JD Arania. How you doing, JD?
Fucking great.
All right.
This is great.
And next to him, we have the amazing, the dope, the half black, half Mexican, Joaquin.
Black Joaquin.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to just say
Joaquin Xavier.
Exactly. I wasn't sure I wanted to say Joaquin first, but exactly. And then next to me, I have
I hate you so much.
I know.
Local musician Marco.
local Richmond musician Marcos. Exactly.
That's
and
it,
then we
last
got
name.
Fields on the ones and twos, making podcast great again.
Podcast and America.
I don't know about America part, but we're gonna try to do
Box
it.
of chocolates.
And across from us, we have a very special guest, dope homie of mine, part of the Wide Shoulder Brethren, an amazing and great, funny comedian and a great guy. Please give it up for Mr. Ato.
Yeah, thank you.
OG.
I'm an OG now. Do I look old?
No. I mean, you're black and older than 25. You OG.
Okay, all right. OG out here in these streets.
Is that the qualifications now?
Well, some black people don't make it past the age of 21 because of the gangs.
I mean, the socioeconomic situation in America is not, to the black man's advantage.
Wasn't supposed
Sip
to
my
make it.
coffee.
We out here endangered species, and white women keep kidnapping us. Y'all seen the Blindside? I'm concerned about my wide shoulder brethren. I feel like
She was smaller than me.
Yeah, and the black men in America, I know the white pussy can be so attractive. I know sometimes it'd be juicier than most, but please put it down.
I just thought about how they picked him up outside in the rain on the side of the street too.
Yeah, wide shoulder bro
like he's a
was
dog or
wet.
something.
He was dripping wet.
I just realized how terrible that is.
That was a terrible. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think
I've never thought about that until right now.
Sandra Bullock looked amazing in that white dress. I can't even lie. Shout out to Sandra
But
Bullock.
is Sandra
see the
Bullock
magic
Sandra
working
Bullock
on him?
just picked you up.
Homeboy was arrested.
You would get in the car with
Yes,
that?
how do you
Sandra
say
Bullock
no
can pick
to
me up
Sandra
anytime.
Bullock?
Exactly.
She pull up on you and be like, "Hey,
You're just walking.
Yeah.
You're just
Get in the
walking in
car.
the park, and she pulls up. And she's like,
She's
"Hey, get
like,
in the
I
car."
own Taco Bell's. Get in the car.
Why would we go to Taco Bell?
She owned Taco Bell's in the movie. Like, they own hella fast food.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that what it was?
Oh, okay.
You fucking weren't paying attention?
She was a franchise owner.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
Did they
more ways than
specified
one.
Taco Bell in that movie?
But that's why they had to make
I
it
don't
realistic.
remember
They had to make a gorgeous white woman be able to pick up a big black man. That's why he got in the car.
Do you see the pictures of the real lady? She was pretty too. No, Sandra Bullock.
No,
but-
not Sandra Bullock.
I mean, the lady, but that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. You 17, 16 years old, you walking down the street, minding your own business, and somebody pull up on you in a nice whip, and it's like, hey, yo, get inside, it's warm in here. We got heat, baby. Let me tuck you in.
What size
I'm
football?
sure they was doing a lot more than Blindsiding out there. There's a little soft cut going on, you know.
Oh,
She bought him a car. She bought him a nice ass truck. Yeah.
No, when she first introduced him and said, "Here, you get a bed," and he was like, "I never had a bed before."
And she was like, "We about to see how these springs." She didn't get him a futon. I
Yeah.
tell you what. Usually niggas only get a futon in them situations. Here, sit on a lumpy couch. You know.
Yeah.
She went and got to bed right away.
Right? You barely saw the husband in that
It's like the
movie.
kids living in the garage, but he gets
For real.
Yeah. Here, take my son's room.
Take
He
my
don't
son's
need
room.
it.
Yeah, he don't need this shit.
You take your ass to the
That's
couch.
her new investment right there.
Hey, honey, I'm going to the bathroom.
Deeply concerned.
Made it to the Ravens.
I mean, they
But he
still
didn't
cool
even-
too.
He didn't
He
last
didn't
too
even
long.
like football. He liked basketball.
And they still cool too. You know what I mean? Like he go home for Thanksgiving. That's where he going.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still good, huh?
Yeah, they
They're still
are.
family?
No, they family. Yeah, he got adopted and
He
everything.
got adopted.
Yeah,
That's his parents.
They
now.
for real, like you
I
know
mean,
his
talk
people.
about showing up late to the game. They adopted him at 16.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Got
like,
a full ride scholarship and everything. They was at.
He
They
don't
was,
know what hot sauce is.
Nah, he grew up in the hood. He know what hot sauce is.
He don't fuck with hot sauce like that no more.
Not no more. But
Christian.
he know what it is. Is he still used to it though?
Yeah.
I didn't even, man, I never even thought about, you know, that what you just said right now.
What?
Getting kidnapped.
That's kidnapping, son. That's
See, one
kidnapping.
man's kidnapping is another man's rescue.
I mean, but that's what they do to dogs too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
ASPCA, whatever.
yeah, whatever's on the street, they feel like
Fucking
picking
Sarah
up.
McLachlan
you know.
singing.
I mean, that's how the prostitution industry survives. Is like old white dudes and old Mexican dudes. Sorry, did I mention?
I can confirm. That is.
You concur,
Yeah.
JD?
Yeah, if anybody go to anybody's drunk tank in the middle of the night, you see who they're picked up on prostitution.
Pick up.
And they're mad about it too. Like I didn't get to bust no nuts.
Hey, thank you for coming out, man.
Hey, for real, cool.
For real. Yeah, appreciate you. I know we never met before.
Yeah, we've never met.
Actually, I've seen you. Like I said, I saw you at a show before.
Yeah, I haven't met these two motherfuckers either, too. So.
Nice to meet you.
I'm
nice
glad
to
to be
meet
in
you.
the club. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you guys are nice. You guys seem nice. You have a very colorful shirt. You know.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I like to mix it up once in a while.
There you go. Good.
Like to throw off people that you're from Richmond, right?
Yeah,
Very much so.
I like to look like I'm from Concord.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a difference. I had no idea.
I didn't know either.
People from Concord try to dress like they're from Richmond.
trying to look like- yeah, exactly.
People from Richmond are trying to get out of that stigma.
Right, like, oh, I don't want to be, no red,
People
no
from
blue.
Richmond trying to move to Concord. That's what.
Yeah.
That's what-
Antioch.
And nobody's
No,
trying to move
no,
to
no,
Vallejo.
no.
No,
No.
we're forced to move to Antioch.
Yeah.
We tried to move to Concord.
Oh, forced. Oh, damn. Antioch, I heard.
What's the San Jose version of that?
San Jose version of what?
Of it's getting too expensive in San Jose, so we got to move to.
Oh, you got to move to Oklahoma then.
We're leaving the whole
Nah,
state.
if you
Town Road.
can't hang.
Fresno?
Go to the Old Town Road.
Yeah, usually what it is in San Jose is like people from San Jose have come from San Francisco,
Right.
and they don't like San Francisco anymore.
They want to still pay that price.
Well, I don't know. It's just San Jose is like really convenient as a place to live. Like,
For sure.
There is everything there, and you don't really have to go anywhere else. But then people don't want to admit that it's hella dope. So you have people who live in that town that are mad that there's other people here, and then you have people who like me. I'm a transplant. I moved from Pasadena up there back.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Back in the year 2000. So I feel somewhat like an adopted son of San Jose because my kid was born there, and his mom's lives there and everything like that. But that's my attachment to that is like I became a man there.
Right.
Like my balls dropped as a human
in San Jose.
in San Jose, and I learned how to like hustle for myself and like establish myself as me. When I was living in Pasadena, I'm still like teenager. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
How old were you when you moved to San Jose?
At 19.
19.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
you became a man.
I became a man. Paid my own rent. Caught my own buses. rode my own bike, you know, like I had like that stepped up process. Like, you know, I was in deep poverty and now I'm in less deep poverty.
I was gonna say like regular poverty.
Yeah, like regular poverty. Like I can go have a meal at like a halfway decent fine dining restaurant, but it ain't really fine dining. Like they ain't got cloth napkins. And you got to stand in line to get your food.
You went from like low class to like middle low.
You know?
Like you go to the buffet once in a while at the casino, but
This is where all the managers eat.
Yeah, you be seeing people with their badges after work. Like,
All the managers hang out here.
It's a McDonald's manager. Look at you.
I'm hanging out with middle management out here.
Managers.
Yo, we going to Il Finale happy hour with the company. It's on the company card, son. Yeah. Let's get them shrimps and that bread.
You mean like
the
BJ's?
Applebee's. Yeah, I was gonna say BJ's, Applebee's.
Yeah, for real.
You get an actual plate.
Yeah,
You just get a paper
it's glass
napkin.
plate.
Yeah.
Or no, I mean ceramic, not glass.
Right.
Put it down, just
How
crashes.
long you been doing comedy? We start there with this whole.
How long? Okay, so 2007, 2008. I feel like 2008, yeah, was the year I kind of like really put it all on the scene for myself, I think. Yeah.
What made you decide to go try stand up?
Funny story. I got fired from a job. I got fired. They basically pulled me in the office one day. It was like, hey man, we don't want you to work here no more, so like you need to figure yourself out.
What job is this? What were you doing?
I was working for an organization called Public Allies.
Okay.
It was a cool little job.
You're no longer an ally.
No, for real.
Yeah.
Like me and my boss weren't getting along at the time, and my job was like an administrative position, plus I was recruiting for the organization. So I'm like kind of like HR a little bit.
Yeah.
So my job was to get people to be part of the organization, both organizations we were sending people to and the people that were, you know, so it was a very big job, I felt like.
Yeah.
And that kind of job, you don't want to have to change the way you do things every season. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're doing something very specific, you want that thing to be very regulated so you can build on your numbers and build on your strategy over time.
Right.
So I knew this, and I'm not college educated, and so a lot of people who are college educated like look down on me when I pitch things or say things or do things and stuff like that. And at that time, I might have not been as eloquent as I needed to be. You know what I mean? I'm like real subtle with it at times, and I don't make assumptions about people. I don't make assumptions about people's intentions. And at that time, I was really adamant about, hey, we don't need to shift it up. We don't need to do better than we did last year. Let's build on what we did last year by doing the same exact thing and actually seeing if it really works. You know what I mean? Let's not switch it up too much. Let's go with the progress we've got, right? Their idea was like, you can't use the same plan that you used last year. And I was like, fuck y'all.
Now, what was it? Were the numbers too low in their opinion? Is that what it was? Or?
No, it's just recruitment is a dynamic situation, and if you're trying to get a diverse group of people, and you're recruiting from all your local colleges, and so my job was to go to the UC Santa Cruz, my job was to go to De Anza, my job was to go to the University of San Francisco and stand around and try to convince college graduates who are about to graduate to come work for me, where you're going to get paid less than everybody in your peer group. And if you finish the program, you get like $5,000 you can use at another school. So it's really like if you want to get money for grad school, that's kind of the situation. So you're trying to convince someone who's going to go into social services to come work for you to be like a coordinator level position, where if their peer was actually go out and get that same job somewhere, they'd be getting paid like double or triple what they're getting paid.
Right.
But you sell them on like, man, we give you all the inside tips. We give you all the sauce. We'll help you out with everything. And I wasn't really trying to help none of these little white motherfuckers. Fuck them. I wasn't trying to help nobody. I was just like, look, you in this program, handle your business. Get out my face. So they didn't like my attitude. They didn't like, because I'm from, I'm from Northwest Pasadena, which is like, might as well have been Compton. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't grow up with this attitude, like, feel sorry for me, and then somebody helps you out with shit. Like, my mom wasn't like that. She was like, figure your shit out. Figure it out, motherfucker. I ain't got time for this, that kind of feeling,
Right.
So my attitude with like coaching with people and being a supervisor in general is just like, I know you can handle it if you believe in yourself that you can handle it. And that's all I was trying to do with books. But difference of opinion, difference of feelings, difference of things, and you get fired. Was that too serious?
I think we're just soaking it all in.
Yeah, that sounds like, don't come from me advice. I'm just going to tell you, you got that shit. You ever seen the movie State Property?
Oh, yeah.
Basically, it was you were Jay-Z and your employees sounded like they were Dame Dash. Like, yo, I got this problem. Go handle that. Go handle that. Oh, you know what? I'll go handle that. Like, that's exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day,
it's good for people to have that.
I'm not necessarily. I have compassion for folks. I really do.
Right.
Like, and I feel like you got to have compassion in anything that you do.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you are going to be tough. But
not in a good way.
And not in a good way. You're going to be tough and mean. Where you got to be tough and you got to have compassion. Like Jennifer Lewis, what she said recently about Kanye West.
Right.
Like, she was tough on dude, but she was like, get help, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
and she knows that she can't do the work herself.
Coming from a place of love instead of just bashing.
She knows that she can't do the work herself for him,
Right.
Because no one really can.
Right.
And that's essentially like how I kind of like live my life a little bit. Like,
That makes sense.
yeah.
So, with all this, do you know why you were fired then, or do you?
No, yeah.
Do you accept why you were fired, or do you?
Yeah, I
are you
know.
still like?
Creative differences is what it's
No.
No, 100%.
real
But some
talk.
people will be like, I think I'm right, and I was showing them tough love, blah blah blah. Like they fired me for no reason. I was the reason that company was thriving. Versus somebody be like, no, I got fired for a good reason.
Yeah, and I wasn't happy with myself at that time anyway. Like, I was going through a lot in my life, and I wasn't a happy person. I was getting drunk every day, coming into work after being drunk all night. Like, sometimes wearing the same ass clothes. Like, I was that nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my car got broken into multiple times. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to fuck some employees. You know what I mean? Like, I was doing the most. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no lie. I was a dusty individual back then, and I looked like a 40-year-old man all the time. So I wasn't really being my authentic self, And so when I got fired from that job, like, it really kind of like made me reflect. And I had a lot of time to sit down because that's when Obama first came into office. And everybody in the country was down. So everybody was getting these fat ass unemployment checks, like 900. I was making $1,600 a week. Yeah. I was
My parents
making.
lost their house around that time.
Yeah, it was tough times for everybody, and I didn't have a car. I was riding around on my bike. I lost my car, and I did like a stint in jail because I didn't pay my tickets. So I was in Elmwood for a little bit, and then I got a nice little spot in downtown San Jose, and then. I used to have these little parties at my house, like, every weekend. Like, we would invite all the friends over. Instead of going to the bars, we just turn up at the house, And, I used to run court and be, like, funny. And then all my roommates thought I was funny and shit. And all my friends thought I was funny and shit. And somebody was like, hey, why don't you be a comedian? I was like, yep. Let's go. And then...
It never occurred to you that never was in your plan when you were growing up.
I mean, it's just like all of a serendipitous kind of moment kind of thing, and then like I was like, all right, let me just really go for this. And so then I used my community organizing skills to get myself in the game. And then I had several conversations with people. Colleen Watson was one of those folks I used to holler at. If you guys don't know who Colleen Watson is, she's a comedian from back in the day. I don't even know if she's still doing it anymore. I haven't heard from her in a long time. But like, she was out there. She used to work for the Metro back then. Okay. And I kind of knew her from like just general being in the street and shit.
Yeah.
And then I knew Butch because Butch worked at a bar I went to all the time.
Caravan, right?
And Butch worked at the Caravan, and I knew Butch did comedy because I went to, or I know I got invited to at least a couple of the shows that they did, the Unfiltered Underground at the San Jose Improv. Okay. And so, and then I went and had this conversation with Butch. I had a conversation with Colleen when I was first starting out, and they basically was like, they told me like what would be the best path. You know, it's like, if you're gonna do this, you might as well start a room or do something like that and get into the game. So I probably did like 1 or 2 open mics. I don't think I even did an open mic actually up until this point. Like, I was just having a conversation with people about it. And then I was hanging out at the Britannia Arms one day, and they had
Britannia Arms, is that still around?
Yeah,
that was one of the mics, right?
Yeah. So the Britannia Arms. Comedy night happened because I was hanging out with this band back in the day, No Water After Midnight. They had a band and they were doing a show there, but they weren't going to stop doing that show there. It was like a poetry night and they couldn't do it for Mondays on whatever reason. And they introduced me to the owner or the manager at the time, and the dude was like, I was like, hey, I could run a comedy show here. And he was like, for real? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, why don't you do that shit next week? And I was like, all right. And then we started a comedy show in like the next couple weeks, and then I did every other Mondays there for 4.5 years hosting. Wow. So that's really how I got my start. Like, running your own room. That's what running my own room from the gate.
That's what a lot of people suggested for me when I started too. Like running your own room, because you get to do stage time every week if you're running it weekly. Yeah. And were you doing it weekly or monthly, or what was it?
I was doing it every other week, and I hit the ground running. I was trying to promote. You know, I did the whole like community building kind of thing, like hit up everybody I know, text messaging and voicemailing, and I have flyers, and somebody helped me get flyers, and I was passing those out by the thousands. You know, they had music at the park at the time, and I was going to music at the park and hitting all those. I'm putting Corday to sleep. You know what I mean? Like,
it's been all day. How many donuts have you had?
Just 2.
Oh, okay. Because I know that you ate
his voice went super high. He's lying.
Sugar crash. He did this once where he's like, the microphone was holding.
Nah, but yeah. But that's how I got started. And then like I started doing other shows and stuff like that. But mainly, the shit I did was in San Jose. And big shout out to Pete Munoz too. Like, he was one of that. Yeah. He was one of those 3 people that kind of like hit me up. Where Butch had suggested some people that I talked to. Yeah. And Pete was one of them. And Samuel Bay was one of them. And a couple other people, like, hey, like, you know, just hit them up and see what they think about you doing this. And then, you know, everybody was kind of nice. Pete was really honest with me. He was like, you don't want to fucking do this shit. But we had a real good conversation, and then me and him been cool ever since.
You don't want to do what? What did he say?
Comedy, like.
Try to talk you out of it?
Yeah, I mean, everybody tried to talk me out of it, but like, if you love it in a way that is real authentic to who you are, like I don't, there's no one could convince me that this is a bad move. Like, not at all. Yeah. Like, not at all.
Absolutely. Right. You've had moments where you ever, like, you're somewhere that you wouldn't be there because if it wasn't for comedy, aside from performing.
Oh, like 0.0% of the amount of women that I've ever had a chance to talk to in general. If it wasn't for comedy, I would have never ever hollered in the first place.
Right.
Because I, like, before comedy, I was pretty timid. Women would like just take over my whole life, and you wouldn't see a nigga. Like, I'd just be. He'd be like, where's Ato? He's probably hanging out at his friend's house. I mean, sometimes I got caught up, you know what I mean? But like, comedy really kind of saved my my perspective on life, you know? Like, I think a lot of it has been positive, so.
That's, no. Like, I also, like, I've had instances where, well, this happened last year where I got paid to speak at some event for Richmond because that's, you know.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, damn, like, all these motherfuckers have degrees. And I just decided to do an open mic, and then I'm here, you know?
Wow.
Like, because I asked you that because I know a lot of comics that are in San Jose tell me that you help out a lot of guys when they're starting out.
I just tell them the truth. And when I'm running Caravan, like, when you run shows, I think a lot of people don't understand that the beauty and the gift and the curse about running a show is there is people who want to get on, right?
Right.
And then there's people who ask you your advice because you run a show. And then you have to tell them honestly, hey, nah, man, this ain't for you. Or, yeah, you good, but you probably should listen to the audience more.
Right.
Or, yeah, that joke is tight, but it's real dumb and racist. And you probably should stop doing it. And you got to have, or like you can't, like there's a couple comics who just want to get up there and be screaming at people and want the attention without doing the work. And at the end of the day, if you running a good show, you want your show to be good,
right?
And you're gonna have to like push people one direction or another. And unfortunately, with the open mic, that's what the situation is. Like,
it's a good filter, huh? Guys who want to
have you met Johnny Corn? I don't know if anybody's met Johnny Corn, but like that dude, boy, he been doing the same joke since 1987. And
shit!
And they don't fly, and they're not funny. And he thinks he's the greatest comedian on earth.
Is he the guy that gets off stage to go and talk to people directly in their seat?
I don't think so. No, he has a joke about I think he has a weird joke about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and some other shit. I try to block it out of my brain, but
has he actually been like a comedian for that long though, since 1980 something?
Yeah, that's in his bio. I had to block him anyway, but it's in his bio. I know for sure.
It's the people you have to block that are very memorable, man.
Yeah.
He was harassing you for time or something, like put me on.
Yes. And there was a time where that harassment worked for him, and then he would get booked, and people would book him because they believed but he also ran a couple rooms too. So you want to do his shows because he does pay out. So that's a risk you run, because not everybody that runs shows are actually good comedians or good people.
Yep.
And he was just one of the weirdest motherfuckers alive.
Cost of doing business, like cost of.
Yeah.
Do you find most comedians were taking your advice when it came to that?
Nah, no one listens to nobody. No. I mean, the comedians.
You instantly knew.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah.
No, it's some people, right? And some people would listen, kind of, but you're not asked to give notes all the time. And then if you need to give a note, it's usually disappointing news to a comic.
Right.
I try and do.
It's not what they want to hear.
No, it's not ever what you want to hear. And like some people are polite and be like, "Yeah, thank you for the notes. I really appreciate you," because they want to like be nice to you because they want to keep doing the show and they don't want you to be like a dick about it. But like, I've always opened the door for a lot of people, and I've opened the door and gave people room to grow within the craft. In my opinion, I feel like I've done it. And there's other times I've had to shut people all the way the fuck down because they're crying in the bar and calling people nigger, and I gotta tell them that they can't do it. I'm sorry to use colorful language amongst people, but like, if you see that happening, or you see some guy about to pull his pants down and show his asshole to everybody, you gotta intervene.
This is a real situation that's happening.
I've been reached out by someone who did that. And he wanted to be a guest. But
no, don't have them on.
Don't have them on the Voice Party
No,
show?
don't. Omar Palominos, you are banned from everything. Omar Palominos is a risk of sexual harassment and unwanted advances by women. 100% of the time. You be careful around that dude.
Can you be a guest
PSA
every month?
Wow.
PSA out there in the community. I'm just saying.
Said comedian reached out, said he was ready for whenever I was ready to have him as a guest.
That dude's weird.
We can't keep
that dude's weird.
I don't know. I didn't know him.
Don't.
Is he still getting booked around?
No.
No.
Not at all.
No.
This Johnny Corn guy still getting booked around.
I haven't even seen Johnny Corn since I think before the pandemic happened. I haven't seen Johnny Corn.
Oh, he might have moved to Topeka, Alaska, or something.
Yeah,
you know?
I think he was like sick for a bit.
Turlock,
People,
California.
Donated money for him and stuff like that. Then he was like, "Oh, I'm recovering and stuff like that, but I still need other stuff." Then it was like, "If you can book me to help me pay for stuff," and it was like, people was like, "Okay, dude, like nah." And then he moved or something. I don't know.
Sorry, he's gonna have to die.
Don't put that on
people
that, man.
donated for them that, but then he was.
I don't wish death on him.
But he was like healing, and he was like, "If you could help me pay for stuff by giving me stage time," it was like weird. It was, I don't know.
I guess he's not just asking for free. I mean, it's kind of a handout, but like he's not just being like, "Hey, can you give me money?" Like, go fund me kind of thing.
Not
like,
to shit on
I'll
him
work
though,
for
but
it.
like, I mean, he did his thing when he did it. I guess. I mean, he was able to hold on to shows and do different things.
Yeah.
He was generally a nice person, but he was a strange dude.
Yeah.
And he wasn't funny. Yeah.
Guys there's a lot of weirdos that think they're funny, but they're really just.
There's some delusion involved,
Right.
but
Didn't Johnny Corn have a show in a nudist colony every summer or something like that? Wasn't that? Yeah.
You
that
didn't want to get booked on that.
Yeah.
Did you have to be nude to perform?
Yes.
No, because not. I mean, I shouldn't be. I feel like I'm outing this dude.
Yes.
I feel like I'm talking way too much about him in general. I feel
the
like
burial of Johnny Corn.
Well, he said you can be nude, or you could just wear your underwear while performing. I remember that was like on the thing.
Did you do something like that?
No, I did not. But I remember seeing.
We're going on his Twitter later.
I remember seeing
put it on
in
Bacon.
I was seeing it on Bacon. That's why I was like,
And one of the reasons why I had to block that man.
I was like, is people going to do this? And I think a few people did. A few comics went and did it. And it was like a certain type of people, and then the people who.
But do imagine like that is kind of a great story to have. Like the only way I could do this, the only way I did the show was to be like butt ass naked.
Yeah, you do that show just to see what happens.
Just to see what happens. You do it one time. You don't do it again.
Yeah.
No, I'm good off that.
Yeah, that's.
There's some situations you just don't want.
Joaquin, that's our first show. Let's do it.
Don't get booked by Johnny Corn show, and don't book Omar Palominos.
No, what's worse is showing up to a show and realize Johnny Corn's headlining.
I've seen that a few times.
And then the person who's supposed to host the show asks you to host it when you were supposed to feature for whoever was headlining, and you find out it's that person. So you have this burning desire to be the feature, be like, I ain't trying to host. But then you get in the spot and there's no one there, and you're like, all right, let's get this show done as quickly as possible. You know what's worse? All the comedians that were there at that show left while Johnny Corn was doing his headlining set.
That sucks. Is there a rule amongst comedians, kind of like music, where you stay till the end of the show?
No.
Or that's not a thing.
I know at open mics, this was a thing that I remember somebody told me. They was like, don't leave immediately after you get done with your set on the open mic. We usually wait 2 comics. Because that way it's more respectful.
The rule?
Yeah, that was like the rule.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it's like a gentleman's agreement. It's like, because instead of just going up and just dipping immediately, it was like, okay, I stayed for a little bit. I'll watch the show. Now I'm leaving. But usually when it comes to shows, sometimes comics double book on different shows, stuff like that.
Okay, so it's known that you're probably not going to stay.
Yeah, so they'd be like, hey, I gotta, can I go up early because I can get to this next show? Stuff. But then bookers get mad at that too. It's like, why would you double book on like different shows, stuff like that?
Because I'm fucking awesome.
I don't sweat the double booking. I just rather know in advance. Sometimes because sometimes you want to put some people in certain spots on the show, and then you have someone.
And if they're like, I got to go to San Jose, Richmond, or something at the same time.
Right, and sometimes you are like, all right, well now I got to put you up front when I really wanted to have someone else go up front.
Yeah. I wanted you closer to headline.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're booking, your show should rise with the talent. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You don't want to have somebody who can't do 15 minutes, only have 5 minutes, and then ask them to do 15. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a hard position.
It shouldn't be a roller coaster of good and bad.
It should be like
it should be getting better and better.
Should go up.
Should rise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
That's any good show, I think.
Comedy,
music, pro wrestling, even.
You want it to trickle in, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't want to stand in the shower when you want to stand in the shower. You want to get in the shower not when it's cold, but when it's warm.
That's right.
And then let it heat up more, and then turn the heat up more. You don't want to hop in when it's hot, you know, and then burn your shit and be like, oh fuck, now I gotta get the fuck out and
if
turn this bitch down.
If you're homeless when the white lady takes you in, you want to become a football star.
You don't want to be Ray Lewis and kicked out the house.
Become homeless.
You don't want to be Bo Jackson after the hip surgery. No.
Goddamn.
There's some white woman find you on the street. Nah, you don't want that.
No. You want to be found.
Well, if you find him on your street after the hip surgery, she take you in. Then you might.
Well, you know, Bo Jackson is Bo Jackson.
Exactly. Bo knows.
Bo knows.
Yeah.
What did he played? What baseball and football?
Yeah.
Which one did he play first?
Baseball.
He could have baseball.
He was good at both, right?
Yeah.
And then he had entered the NFL draft to play football full time, and then because
what was he in football?
He was a running back.
Running back.
So and then some team sent him on a visit, or whatever, and it messed up his eligibility to play his final year in baseball. So he couldn't play MLB baseball. He couldn't play college baseball. So he got mad at that. So he didn't enter the draft, and then he entered the draft for MLB and started playing I think for the Kansas City Royals, and then Al Davis took a flyer on him and drafted him in the 7th round. So they owned his rights, and then you convinced him hey man, won't you come and play for us? So literally at the end of baseball season, which ended in October, he was like, all right, well, I'm about to go start playing football. So with no training camp, no nothing, no training to be a running back, just go and start playing football. And he was like, yeah, he's like, my off season job is football. My full-time job is baseball.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then so the fun thing about it, or the crazy thing about it, after the huge hip injury, he still played 6 years in baseball, but he wasn't as as good.
Explosive.
He wasn't as explosive because he was a freak of nature. So they tell the story.
He wasn't as fast.
Yeah, because that was his thing. He was super fast, right?
Yeah. Was he a better hitter or fielder?
No, well back then too, hip surgery was very invasive.
Yeah.
And because he broke that bone, the knob part, that's what they replaced. And for someone like him who's this
very
top-notch athlete, there's only one other person like him, and that's Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
In general.
They were good at both, right?
Yeah.
They were good at
Deion Sanders, Allen Iverson. There's a few guys out there that play sports that could have played any sport and dominated.
Right.
And Deion Sanders is one of them. Bo Jackson is definitely one of them, and Allen Iverson is one of them.
What else did Allen Iverson play?
He played football.
He was a wide receiver and a quarterback and a corner and a linebacker.
Did he play professionally, or was he
He was that dude in his community.
So he didn't play professionally. Okay. So he there was an incident. It was a 30 for 30 documentary where he was supposed to go and play football, but because they said he got in trouble, but he had left the bowling alley, and they said all these black people and Allen Iverson did this kind of a thing. He went to jail, got arrested, lost all his football scholarships and basketball scholarships. Then one coach gave him a scholarship to Georgetown, and he played basketball there, and then he went on to the NBA. But they said he was better at football than he was. No, he was a quarterback. He was a quarterback. He was a quarterback. He was better at quarterback than he was at
anything.
Wow. He as amazing he was at basketball.
But he played all the sports, and he played track, all of it.
Yeah.
He was the number one dude in his whole community. Everybody knew he was going to take flight, and then I think he got some false accusations.
It was false accusations.
False accusations levied on him because he touched a white woman, and then
all that.
Can I adopt you?
I'm just saying it's a danger to our community.
Also, the funny thing about it, the Bo Jackson injury is so it didn't look bad. He was running, a guy kind of tackled his leg, but because they said, Bo Jackson says, because he ran so fast and how fast his legs move, a simple tackle, it knocked his hip out, and then it started bleeding immediately, and then they kind of popped it back in instead of fixing it at the time, and so he was never the same again.
So the blood,
the internal bleeding and the tear and all that stuff, and he didn't get help right away, and then he was hobbling around, but it was hey, what's wrong with you? I was I don't know, man.
What year was this? it 80s, 90s?
It was like 90.
90.
Like
Yeah.
maybe 91.
1990.
89,
So-
90.
And this is how
They
fast.
say he has like one of the best. Is it 30 for 30, the documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta watch that.
Bo knows.
That's what everyone says.
It's super good.
Even if you don't like sports, you gotta watch the Bo Jackson 30
Bo Jackson.
for 30.
And it's super dope too. And Deion Sanders has one where it talks about where he played in 2 football games and was playing in the playoffs for the Atlanta Braves at the time.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because the owner and like all these people was giving him shit. It was like he's making a mockery of baseball. He's supposed to be here and supposed to be with the team. When he said, he's gonna be all in, he's supposed to be all in. Deion Sanders was like, I'm not even under contract with the Atlanta Braves. My contract ended in July, so I can start playing football. But I'm over here lending my services because we could go to the World Series, and they making this mockery of us. And also, Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson are 2 of the fastest people to ever play in the NFL. Deion Sanders ran like a 4.2, right?
Smoke show.
Right, and he's like 6'1", like 180 pounds.
Jerry
Bo
Rice
Jackson,
was scared of him.
right?
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
For real.
Bo Jackson, I think, was faster than Deion Sanders and was probably like 230. Like,
That's scary.
He's
Coming at you.
250 with
Right.
pads back then.
Bo Jackson.
250. Can you imagine
Right.
a train coming at you 250?
Bo Jackson said he ran a 4.23. The fastest like 4.43. That's like you one of the fastest people in the NFL. You run a 4.2, you're one of like that's Olympic sprinter speed.
Right.
And this dude is 6'1", 6'2", 230, 35 pounds, running a 4.23.
Boom.
And he said he
And them pads back then was made out of metal.
right?
Yeah.
He tells the story.
Metal.
He tells the story of him running like the 40, right? Because they do it in Indianapolis. They was like, hey, he's like, hey, Bo, can you run like the 40 for the players? He was like, man, I'm going to track practice. I'm about to do all this. He's like, just run the 40, right? So he runs the 40. He said he gets to like the 30, and he kind of pulls up, and he runs like they say on the clock it was like 4.3, and then everyone was like, oh shit, that's 4.3. He's like hella big and shit like that. And then the coach looks at him. He was like, Bo, they came to see you run, man. Run that shit. Like, do full speed. He's like, all right. He was like, you see those doors back there? He was like, open that up, because he said, I'm going so fast, I can't stop, right? He's like, so open that all the way up, right? He said, so he gets up, gets down in the stands, runs, and and the clock stops. They said he ran a 4.23, and he just kept going to track practice because he had to like keep going like out the stadium, and he just ran to track
Like
practice.
the Forrest Gump scene where he just keeps going.
Yeah, so that was him. And so they clocked it. He 4.23.
Yeah, your boy wasn't playing.
Think of this. In the 80s,
Yeah.
at 6'1", 6'2", 235 pounds. Like, if you look at Bo Jackson and see him, you'd be like, this motherfucker was fast as shit. So, yeah.
That's before all them keto diets and shit.
Before all that, like, that
I mean,
kind of special
just
training and all that kind of
that's
stuff.
cornbread and hog bone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Played in Auburn from the South.
You should,
Texas
if
French
you
toast for
see,
breakfast.
if you see his college footage, it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous how he was just embarrassing everyone around him.
There's not like. Would you say there's no athlete like that right now? Like that's hella.
I mean,
like
for all intents and purposes, you got LeBron out
For
here
sure.
killing the game. There's a lot of people who are just like straight up freaking nature athletes. Ja Morant, like I ain't never seen a little dude like other than Spud Webb like really put on a show like that. Like, you know,
I'd say Zion Williamson.
Zion is about the same size. Well, no, he bigger than
bigger than me.
He bigger than Bo Jackson. But I'm just saying, like in general,
Bo Jackson.
but the way he's able to do what he does and how people are just like, I've seen film of Zion from college and people, he's just floating above everybody.
Yeah, like 280, right? They said
That's
he was
what's scary about those dudes at like 230, 280. Fucking moving like they're floating. Yeah.
And they said he need to like work on his weight. That's why he gonna start getting injured and stuff like that, right? And they said he was 6'8". Come to find out he's like 6'5", 6'6", right? But he jumps. Like so imagine he's more athletic
like
than
70
LeBron.
inches.
He's more athletic than LeBron, and he's like bigger than him. Like just jumping up and just
They don't want to let him play center because people gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
That's insane.
That's like when you see that footage of Shaq when he was in his prime. That shit's scary. Dog. Like,
well, that's why they went with the whole Shaq attack. You know, they foul him and get him out. Slow him down because how you gonna slow down that massive human that's that athletic that don't get injured. Like Shaq didn't really get injuries.
Yeah.
He would just mob through fools and all them little Christian Leitner and all them fools trying to get up on him and so like just bounce off him like you know what are you gonna do?
That's why
it's like the character when not the character with Mario when he gets the star.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. That's literally what it is. He's just going through all those shells like that. That's why it's super funny now. It's super funny now. Like all these players, like the center is not as dominant, it's not as great now. He's more of like I could shoot threes, I could do this stuff. But like back in Shaq day, it was like, no, give me the ball, I'm in the paint, and like you right here on me, and I'm just gonna jump up and just dunk on you.
Can you imagine KD against a Shaq?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
KD. Well, if KD didn't have that floating ass jumper, KD wouldn't be doing shit neither.
He'd be the paint.
If KD had to work in the paint, he'd be done. His old ass would be sitting down somewhere.
Because KD's 7 foot.
He's 7 feet.
He's 7 feet, and like you think like, oh, that's a center, but like no, I'm a power forward with a great shot.
What's Shaq's
7'1"?
7'1".
So like Shaq is 1 inch taller.
Shaq is a real man with a big old chest.
Strong ankle.
Chest.
Yeah.
I seen him in that commercial for whatever that male enhancement. He took his shirt off. I was like, hey, his chest is like two pieces of drywall, like put together. Like, oh, shit.
Superhero body.
Yeah, for real. You was like, hey, I ain't fucking with that dude.
You ever seen him in person?
Yes.
I saw Braun Strowman in person, the fucking wrestler dude.
Yeah.
I was like, God, as tall as his fucking light, maybe bigger. Them motherfuckers are scary, dog.
That's how it looked when I saw Draymond. When we saw the Warriors at the Boogie Cousins comedy show.
Oh, yeah.
We saw the Warriors pass by us, and we were just like, I was like looking at Draymond. I was like, "How are you my age, dude?
No, think about
that doesn't make any sense."
Think about it like this: we look at Steph on TV and we think, "Oh, this dude is pretty short. He's 6'3", dude. He's 6'3".
Compared to the rest of them.
Let me tell you guys this. So it was right before. No, it was like right after they just won like their first championship, like the recent ones, and my uncle got me and my cousin, what's it called, for preseason
preseason games, tickets,
8 rows from courtside, right? And we're like, oh, dude, we're really close to the court, dude. These motherfuckers are still. Giants. We're sitting down, and they're still taller
giants,
than us. And we're like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, we always have to explain this to my sister. They was like, Curry's not that tall. I'm like, Curry is 6'3". It was like, why is all these other people like taller? They was like, because Draymond's 6'8".
How tall are you?
Clay is 6'11".
Oh, I'm a strong 5'9.5".
Okay,
you know.
What are you? 6'2"?
No. It's like 6. I wish. I'm 6 foot. I'm like 6 foot.
6 foot. Okay. And to me, you look fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like up this way.
Exactly. So imagine me. You see me, and then like Steph Curry, I'm looking up to Steph Curry. Right. You would never think that would happen.
It's like hi. Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, Steph.
No, like he's as tall as that light.
Yeah. And then Draymond is 6'8". Like he's 5 inches taller than Steph Curry.
No, it's
imagine those.
And then you see Shaq, who's 7'1". 7'1".
Yeah, he taller than them dudes.
Yeah.
The dude is
right.
5 inches taller than Draymond.
That's just like a dinosaur walking up to you.
Like Andre
y'all ain't never met Akeem Olajuwon either. That dude was
the Big Show.
Akeem Olajuwon. You know about Akeem Olajuwon? Man.
Who's that?
Akeem the Dream, man.
Akeem the Dream. He was a Houston Rockets. He was he was their center for a while. That dude, him and Patrick Ewing. Oh, Patrick Ewing is a big dude too.
It's like when you're
was Yao Ming as big as Shaq?
Yao Ming is taller than Shaq.
Yeah.
He's
Yao Ming
7'6".
is taller. There's a picture of Shaq, Yao Ming, and Kevin Hart.
Yeah. I just saw that.
Perspective about how big people are. That's the picture.
Wait, have you seen that?
I've seen that. Yeah. You know what's crazy is like if you're that tall, like you can't work at fucking UPS.
You fuck real slow. You know what I mean? Like you doing everything slow. You start moving, you become a juggernaut. That's just perpetual
you
motion.
See a 7 foot motherfucker working at Starbucks like Jose, your order's ready.
I used to get
deep ass voice.
They used to be like
you've seen this, right?
They used to be a 6 foot.
Never. Oh my God.
They used to be a 6'8" dude who worked at Foot Locker and Hilltop, and I was like, why are you here, dude? Why are you just here regularly? Like this makes no sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like those guys have to become athletes or fucking.
They don't have to.
They don't have to.
It'd be nice if one of them was a tax attorney or
join
something.
WWE and shit.
No, because you also got to imagine like some of these big dudes like can't walk fast at all. Like they're slow as
Very
fuck.
uncoordinated, yeah.
Yeah.
But then if
big
you,
dudes, not all big dudes are like.
Yeah,
there's the
not all.
1% that are in professional sports that are
Right.
7 feet
That's
tall
true.
that can
That's true.
walk
That can
like a
actually
normal
do that
human. Like the rest of the guys cannot walk.
When I was in high school, one of the basketball players, he was, I believe, 6'2", and he was my age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some dudes tried to rob him. He picked the dude up and threw him across the fence.
Yeah.
That's right in Richmond High. He threw him across the fence.
I think I heard about this.
You heard about that?
Yeah, it was like some tall dude throwing
Saw
dudes
that,
at Richmond High.
Yeah.
Oh,
Threw
wow.
him over the fence.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Like, you don't belong here.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
that must have killed him.
I was like, why would you try to rob the big dude?
You try to rob.
Well, also if you're going to rob a big dude, like go for the legs.
People knew him.
Yeah.
But his ability to just pick that
Oh, dude,
motherfucker up
you just picked him up and
Yeah.
threw him.
I retired from basketball because I realized because I was trying to play center at like 5'10". I was like, dude, I could be like I could just like use my athleticism and try to get over it. So sophomore year, I was going out for center on the JV team or like we didn't have a freshman team, right? Or like varsity. So I was like, I'm gonna go out for JV. And then there was this dude who was a freshman. He was 6'4", and he was like, I'm going off for power forward. And I was like, God damn.
Yeah,
I was like,
good
this ain't gonna last too much longer. And so I
And then
went out.
once you get to boxing and the whole weight class thing,
Yeah.
like I'm technically a heavyweight.
Yeah.
But if I really was at the healthy weight that I'm supposed to be in
Yeah.
boxing, I'd be a welterweight.
Yeah.
But then when I remember sparring and this dude's hella bigger than me,
Yeah.
his fucking hit.
That was actually like the one thing that my like dad was like, damn, I wish like Salesian had like wrestling or something like that for like guys that were as small as me.
Yeah.
Because like I couldn't play basketball. Soccer was kind of hard because like I didn't grow up
need
playing
lung
soccer.
capacity for soccer.
Yeah, exactly. And then like
lungs.
baseball. Again, I mean, baseball was kind of hard too because like everyone was super big as well, and so like if you had to be just super skilled
I
to
feel like
play.
there's a misconception of baseball. Like you don't have to have like
Size?
muscle mass and
Yeah.
all that other type of
I
stuff.
mean, look at the
You got to be
Japanese teams, right?
athletic and you got to be conditioned.
You have to be, but if you're gonna be that small too, because you do have to have some power behind you to like throw that far. To,
Oh, and you was smaller than this in high school, right?
Yes,
Okay, so
100%.
that makes
And I
more
was,
sense.
like,
Because we're looking at him now, but I'm like, he was
and
probably
skinnier
like
too.
yeah,
like
he was
I,
way
like
smaller.
I wasn't gonna, I couldn't throw the ball from one base to the
play
other
the-
that
yeah,
fast.
Yeah, because I'm looking at him like Marcos, what are you talking about? But I'm
Yeah.
like, oh wait, you were smaller
Right.
than this in high
Yeah,
school. So
100%.
You mentioned
So,
you
like, I
did
wish there was
martial arts,
wrestling.
right? Or was that a joke?
Karate.
No, I mean, yeah, I did. You know, my mom was a single mother.
Your mom.
So
Your
my
mom taught him karate.
My mom taught me karate. She knows, I know how to. No, seriously, she signed me up. I did that YMCA karate for like a couple years. You know.
MCA karate.
Yeah.
It's something to keep me busy. I played baseball growing up too. But then we think about, so with baseball, you have to be athletic too because there's skinny guys who play baseball, but then there's also like big guys who play baseball.
You got to be quick.
You gotta be quick, yeah.
Right.
And coordinated too.
Fat
And coordinated too,
fucking
yeah.
guy like me playing baseball.
Yeah, you gotta be
You would
quick
be
and have action.
you only hitting the base.
still-
No, I mean there was what's his
If I
name,
only
the
get a-
pitcher, the big dude that played for the Mets.
Yeah,
Or he used to play for us. He used to play for Oakland.
Pitchers, you gotta.
No.
Fuck no, those dudes.
Jesus
gotta be
No.
shape their
He used to be a
legs.
pitcher for us and for Oakland and.
Oh, you talking about that fat ass dude?
Yeah, he
Okay.
looks kind of short too, but
Okay,
yeah, I don't think.
I know you're talking about. He played
Latin
for a long time too.
Yeah,
He
what's his
retired
name?
like he was 43.
You talking about
What's his name?
Cologne?
Cologne. Yeah, Cologne.
Yeah.
Bartolo Cologne.
Look like
Bartolo
Mario?
Colon, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like he's like shaped like you.
But that's every big dude's dream. Like, well, what about that dude?
You
But-
see when he gets
Nah,
good hits,
everybody-
and he
every
gets home
big
runs or
dude's
something.
Every big dude's dream is Poppy.
Yeah.
Poppy.
Yep.
That guy was
Big
as
Poppy.
fat as he could fat be.
Yep.
And he playing for Boston and they win the World Series.
No, but see, he wasn't. But Bartolo Colon was bigger than him, like bigger size.
Still.
But he pitched though.
Still-
He had the baggy
Yeah.
pants on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
He had a gut.
He had a gut.
You could see the
Yeah.
He
gut
played
up
first
and down.
base.
Yeah, but before
Like,
that, for me, it was Barry, because Barry was like husky, but he was like on
was-
steroids at the
he
time.
didn't really have a-
No,
He wasn't, like, on son, though.
when I was like really getting into the early 2000s, he was
I feel like
bigger.
Barry Bonds deserves redemption on that.
He definitely does.
100%.
He definitely does.
Man,
I think what they did to that dude is messed up.
The reason why Barry
What?
Bonds
They're not putting him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
All of it. The
Is-
whole
is it
thing,
Mark
the way they ran him down like that.
Mark McGuire's in it, right?
No.
Oh, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, none of them really.
They're not in it.
Yeah.
And none of them really gonna get in because they all got exposed.
juice,
but
yeah.
it's really Sammy Sosa's fault for trying to be white in the first place. But like,
Bro, he looks so bad right right now.
You look so
That
bad.
dude looks fucking.
No.
weird.
But like
right now?
real,
Google Sammy Sosa before and after.
like the whole era during that time, baseball was doing bad. Everybody knew baseball was doing bad.
Exactly.
And baseball wasn't exciting anymore.
Nope.
And none of these fools was actually good. And Barry Bonds was the best in the game.
Wait,
Ken Griffey
what?
Jr. was the best in the
He started
game.
bleaching his skin.
And those were the dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody else kind of sucked balls because they was all cracked out or drinking or doing too much. Anyway.
Jason Giambi's brother and
all of them.
Jeremy Giambi.
All of them, dude.
I just saw Moneyball last night.
That's the
only reason I remember that.
That's the thing, dude. Like, baseball sucked and wasn't that good, right?
Right.
The steroids era revitalized baseball from like the home run chase and everything. Like, 'cause baseball wasn't that
Ken
good.
Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds were like the two most exciting.
But I don't
players.
think
Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, like when they was battling back and forth, like the home run thing, that catapulted. Like, even though baseball's kind of been like back to like being good in like the last 5 years, but the mid to late 90s restored baseball as like a prominent sport.
As America's sport.
It's American sport because of the steroid era of everybody hitting home runs, because it was like, oh, it's another 1-0 game. But because of that, it made baseball exciting again. But then now they're like, well, we can't have these people. They tortured the game. It was like, all these ratings y'all got.
If the guy that was actually selling all that stuff to that, like, the problem was like they federally investigated the dude that was giving all these supplements in the first place.
Right.
So if that had never came out, matter of fact, the same dude helped out that one bald dude. What's the one bald dude that did the bikes? What's his name?
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong.
No way. So the same guy.
All these fools was involved in all that.
So the guy who was helping them, like Balco, that's the experiment company.
Yeah.
So Barry Bonds,
he was helping out all the top athletes.
The black chick who was dominant and like who was spreading herself, I forget her. I forget her name. She was like doping too in like Olympics. Then they had Jason Giambi, his brother who was like in like Jeremy, who was like up and down, like
strip clubs,
Mark,
stuff like that.
Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, all was like wrapped up in getting the same dopamine or whatever from the same. They call it the clear. And the funny thing about it, because I read the game, it's called The Book of Shadows. The guy literally found out Jesse Giambi and his brother was doping, and like Mark McGwire, but like Mark McGwire was seen as the guy.
Jose Canseco too, right?
Jose Canseco. But the reason Barry Bonds started doing, because they was giving so much pub to Mark McGwire that he was jealous, and then that's why he started to dope, right? But the guy who was investigating found out Jason Giambi and his brother was doing it, but then he was just like, he was like, I need more. I need more of a star. I need something big.
Those
to
guys
break
aren't gonna break the story.
They ain't gonna break the story.
So Barry Bonds, because he's fucking doing the breaking the records.
But he found out Barry Bonds was on it. He was like, okay, now I can push this forward. Because the dude was looking for the story too. So that's why it all became like he literally. I was like, oh, this book is shit. Like everyone's like, yeah, they proved that Barry Bonds was doping in here. I'm like,
I don't think they could have proved it, because I don't think Barry Bonds even knew. I don't think none of them people really knew what they was doing. They knew
they were doing something.
They was taking supplements to help them with their conditioning. That's what they thought.
You think they didn't know those?
I think
They were
Barry
getting
did.
injections, right? Like that was.
Well, it was two. It was
injection.
It was an injection, but then there was also this thing called the cream, because it was like you had a cream. It was like you take something and you rub it on your arm, stuff like that, and it was like so. And then it was like, don't leave the shit behind, because if you leave the shit behind, we bring in, they find out. It was like who lived. Well, no, it's like, okay, this is like, what is this valve or stuff like that? They said even the Olympic sprinter, she had to keep flying back because she would just be like reckless with it, and then she got exposed because her husband was like a power
he was
lifter.
on that too.
And he was on it, and then she kind of like talked shit about him, and then divorced, and then so he exposed her.
Right.
But yeah.
Do you think what's that guy's name? Pete Rose should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Pete Rose should be in it. Yeah, absolutely.
No. Should he be redeemed?
Pete Rose
for what he did?
Nah,
right?
For betting on the game?
A lot of people think that he should.
Pete Rose wasn't a good dude.
Oh, because neither was Barry Bonds. That's another reason why.
The
The media hated the media hated him, and he was kind of a dick. That's another reason why.
P. Rose?
No, Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds.
In the Twitter era, he would have been just like Marshawn Lynch, like a real talk.
Right.
I'm just be honest, like Marshawn Lynch was beloved for his, because Marshawn Lynch was never really like cool with the media and stuff like that. They just kind of left him alone.
True, but Marshawn has done some real good things in the community.
Yeah, I would say Barry Bonds does too. He come from the Mays family.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, he was a real dude. He was really out here for people. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't trying to hurt nobody or nothing like that. To me, it'd be different if, like, he had more dead bodies on him or something like that. But he wasn't a bad dude. He was just a dude that played baseball real good. Right. No different than Ken Griffey Jr. in my opinion. Right. And he just didn't submit to this whole idea that he was all the way in the wrong about it, and it was all his fault. Right. And then everybody took it to make him the villain in this situation.
You know what it was? This is why they got pissed off. So, because he was supposed to go and say, okay, I'm admit that, like, that I took this. I was supposed to, like, I was taking this, I was taking that, I was getting better, stuff like that. And then the moment, this was the agreement they had, and then they said the moment he got on the stand, he was like, oh, I didn't knowingly take anything. I didn't know that this was going to enhance. I didn't. So that's what it was.
It was the blatant
right.
lies.
But then also he said he was pissed that they was giving all this praise to, because they said they was giving all this praise to Mark McGwire, who was never that good until he really got back on the steroids, stuff like that.
Your
like
boy Mark McGwire admitted to it from the gate though.
Yeah,
right.
That's the difference.
And so it was like, they giving it to the big white dude because he looked like Paul Bunyan and everything. He's like, I think Barry hit like 40 home runs or 45 home runs, but he couldn't get
That's
the
why
MVP.
he got it the worst, because he was actually
Barry Bonds was always better than Mark McGwire in general.
And then they get
even before the drugs.
Even before.
And then that's when Mark hit like 60 home runs or 70 home runs, something like that. And they gave it. He was like, this man on the juice. Y'all ain't seeing this
But
stuff?
they was throwing Mark layups too.
Exactly.
And they was throwing them layups.
Yeah. And then that's those like I know like I follow this dude named Rob Parker. He was like, I vote for Barry Bonds every year because he's like he votes for the MLB Hall of Fame. He was like, because those same writers who criticize and won't vote for him now all gave him those MVP awards when everybody knew that he was dirty. They gave it to Sammy Sosa. They gave it to Mark McGwire. He's like, baseball contributed, pocketed all that money. Now you holding it against the players to restored it. Like, you don't take away none of the wins from the coaches. You don't take away none of the wins from like any of those teams that won.
If it was that deep, the whole organization.
Yeah, he's like, but you punish each individual player who restored your game. And I was like,
punish the fans for supporting.
Now here's the question: is doping fair practice? Now, when it comes to something like the pro wrestling doping that was done, and there's big scandals, like, well, wrestling's predetermined wins anyway. Does it really matter if Hulk Hogan was on the juice? No, because his win's already planned, right?
All right.
However, when you're talking about competition and you're using enhancements to give you an advantage,
that's where
it's not a competition anymore.
In boxing,
so baseball might as well be pro wrestling
in general. Right? The Russians and the Germans invented this doping situation, right? And they did it to their athletes so that they can win in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So the whole reason everybody's so hyped up and concerned about it is because these fools was doing it. Yeah. And even though they were doing it, they was still losing. They weren't that dominant, only in a couple sports that nobody else could be dominant in, really.
But it probably shows too how dominant you can be when you're on roids. So that's the issue
they
now.
Say that.
Unlock your next level.
Right.
Well, they say that, right? But they say with baseball, it's all hand and eye coordination, right? They like, so Jason.
Yeah, it'll make your brain work.
So
better.
right, so you still have to see the ball, hit the ball, and if you're getting bigger, it slows you down even more.
But you have that much more power.
But if you hit though, because
there's pros and cons.
Because Jason Giambi didn't become a Hall of Famer all of a sudden, and his brother was juicing too, but he was still in the minor leagues.
Well, he was also his view on life.
Yeah,
he wasn't serious about the game.
Better player.
It's an advantage. It's not gonna make, like, you remember in boxing with Margarito, the guy that put
make your balls shrink up.
Plaster and stuff,
and lose your hair.
Plaster.
But see, that's the same thing. Like, you can't use plaster.
Well, of course, that was like blatantly cheating. He put plaster in his boxing gloves, like drilled in there.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And he fought Miguel Cotto.
That's like, you could kill somebody doing that.
He beat Miguel Cotto. That was his first loss. But then that's where it comes like, yeah, that shit don't. He fought,
But that's
he
the
fought
same reason
Mosley
why.
with Plaster, and Mosley fucked him up.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's that slight advantage that you have, no matter what. Like let's say you're really not that great of an athlete. You still, like, you wouldn't have been that if you, whatever you somewhat gained.
People cheat for the money and for the clout. The people that work hard are able to keep it.
And they want to make memorable moves in the sport.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. People cheat, just like Donald Trump cheats. You know what I mean? Like all these people out here cheating. You know, just cheating. They know they cheating. They know they working the system. They know they taking shortcuts and this and that. And then they throwing out all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about like sports in general. I feel like sports is akin to chattel slavery in the sense that like they put people on display and then they don't pay them. Like none of the players in any of these leagues is really getting the change that the league is getting or the owners is getting. These owners is making multiple billions of dollars on all kind of revenue streams from the game that they're playing in these stadiums. They're getting concessions from communities on the guys that they're going to be hiring and jobs and all. Ain't nobody making more money than these people that own teams.
But they're getting paid.
They're getting paid.
Well.
Yeah.
I would love to make that money.
And I would say this too.
They're not making manager money.
No, 100%. But when you see some of these, like, you know, people are worth $250 million for 5 years. Imagine you being an owner, because you're an owner.
It takes on that person's life.
Oh, 100%, 100%. But do you think, because like those kind of contracts aren't coming around as much anymore?
Well, okay, real quick.
And they're dying out.
Okay.
Inflation
depending on what sport. Because look at it like this, right? Baseball players, like I think the dude
Bryce
Harper signed for 12 years, $340 million, right? Over 12 years, and that's with baseball.
I wish comedians were getting contracts.
Right, exactly, right. So with baseball, you have to play in the minors for 2 years, then you get elevated to the major leagues, and you're still on a rookie deal, and you usually don't get that deal until you're probably 27 or 28. So you have to wait from college to that time to get that deal.
So
you have to
Harper
make
come out of college straight?
No. So Bryce Harper, he graduated with a GED from high school, went to a junior college to college credit so he can get that deal earlier. So he got it around 25, 26.
Gotcha.
But most players don't get that like kind of a thing to the age of 28, 29, almost 30. That's why when players are on the back end of those contracts, they're like, well, they're not as good. Who do you have?
Right, like why are we paying them $300 million when?
But then it's like the owners.
What are you doing after baseball? What are you doing after football?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's why Big Papi and Alex and A-Rod and them are on the fucking news.
And then those same owners, like the owner who owns a baseball team or NBA team, they didn't make money off that team. Right. This is their little side hobby, you know? Like this is
side billionaire business.
Oh, that's Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Dodgers. He owns the Dodgers, Sparks, and
he doesn't own. He's
part owner.
He has a share. He's a shareholder.
Partner.
Yeah.
No, he's more than a shareholder.
He's
more of like an owner of the Dodgers.
He has a lot of shares.
He's part of a group that owns the Dodgers. It's like 8 people, 8 to 12 people. So he's part of that, but he's like
that's like if all of us
right?
owned.
But think about it like this: the people who owned it was a couple. Before that, and
that's true.
The only reason they sold the team because they got divorced.
Yeah. Some dude named Schmitty.
Exactly.
own the Timberwolves. It was like, my name's Schmitty. I like basketball. I want to see them men's in the show.
What's his name? Mark Cuban. Is he like not sole, but
Rockets.
like
he bought the team. He bought the team.
He's the sole owner of that.
And he made his money.
He's one of the few. He's one of the few. He's either the majority owner or
I was gonna say he's like the main owner.
Or the owner of the Knicks. The owner of the Knicks is so goddamn rich.
That dude is dumb.
He's one of the worst owners.
He owns the whole Madison Square Garden.
He owns Madison Square Garden. So think about it like this: most people only own the team.
Yeah.
He
Right.
owns the building
Right.
and the team.
land.
So he owns like the land. So I own the land and the team.
So when concerts, all that, he makes.
I'm getting all
He's
this.
making all of it.
Yep.
All of it. All the
that.
sold out Jay-Z shows.
Yeah.
all that.
The
Speaking of Jay-Z,
All the
getting a
comedians that
piece.
come there to sell it out.
And
He's getting all that.
Yeah.
The concession stands. He's getting all that.
man.
And then he was like,
All the bread
I
off
gotta
the
pay these.
bread.
I gotta pay these players. And then also,
that's why you can afford
Donald Sterling, who used to own the Clippers, he didn't like to spend money because if they played, he still got. So if his team was trash and I don't have to spend that much money, I still get a lot of money because everybody's coming here.
People buy tickets to watch Allen Iverson cross over somebody
Exactly.
over the Clippers because the Clippers.
And then he got mad because his team was trash when he started spending money. He's like, I gave you $80 million. Why aren't we good? I could have not did this and still make a fuck ton.
I want to say
Don't the
something.
Clippers and Lakers
I want to
play
say
at the same
something.
spot?
I'm glad now I know what we need to change the topic to when I need a coordinator to wake up.
Sports.
Oh yeah, change the sports. They're talking about sports.
I guess
I didn't know you knew this much about sports.
I didn't either. It's like a fucking encyclopedia. I read a book about this shit.
Aren't you a gym teacher or something?
I was a PE teacher. I was a PE teacher.
Yeah,
for,
I mean, like, he
for
gotta
2
know,
years,
like,
I don't know. Hey, right on, man. I didn't know all this about.
Oh, you do. I'm deep. My knowledge goes deep. I'm the Joaquin of sports.
Yeah,
I'm Black Joaquin of sports.
He knows stuff. You know,
This
black
is a
men
hip hop
know things.
encyclopedia, and now we got the
My sports encyclopedia. I know a bunch of
Hey,
like
man.
grandmaster facts and
We're at an hour now. I wanna thank you first of all for coming out.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to have you back. I like
Okay.
your vibe.
All day.
I'd like to have you on one of my shows.
Yeah, all
Comedy
day.
show.
Yeah. I'll do
We
whatever.
barely talked about comedy. We talked about
did,
sports
we
the
did.
entire
No,
time.
no.
We talked about
I made an analogy and y'all took it from there. I just
we
sat
talked
back.
about
off with the
sexy ass
Blindside.
white woman picking you up on the side of the road.
Kidnapped by white
looking
women
like
in
Sandra
sports.
Bullock.
Hey, brothers out there, if you above 5'8" or 9, and you out here cold in these streets, and you got wide shoulders, be careful because the white women is picking these folks. Careful now out here.
Amen.
Hey man, tell our listeners.
Careful now. You gonna get
listeners
swooped
how they
up
can find
and
you.
sopped up, buddy.
Tell
Then you gonna be in the house without no hot sauce. What you gonna do?
please tell our listeners where they can find you. Plug your socials.
On the street, of course. Just
Yeah, y'all
up.
can.
In the rain.
The streets of San Jose.
Streets of San Jose.
You can find me in the streets of San Jose avoiding pickups. These .com divorcees is really after us, bro. Nah, but like for real, you can catch me every second.
Don't say catch.
Yeah, no. You can find me. And if you really want to have a conversation about my time, you got to talk to my lady first. But every second Wednesday, I'm at the San Jose Improv. We do the San Jose Improv open mic, and the anniversary show is December 14th. You gotta slide to that. It's gonna be super fun show. We're gonna have Corday come in guest judge. I gotta run that through David.
Of course, yeah.
But I don't see any. I don't have a problem with it. So you know we got.
How do we sign up for that?
The open mic is actually pretty easy. All you gotta do is show up on the day of, and then you're randomly selected to get on the show. You have 4 minutes. If you do really well in the 4 minutes, if you have the set of the night, or there's a couple people we picked that have the set of the night, and then those folks are picked to either open or feature for a national headliner at the San Jose Improv. And I would say 90% of the folks that have gone through and done that have gotten selected, or we've also had a showcase where folks have done the showcase, and we're just gonna keep the show growing. It's been a fun ride, from nothing going on in the pandemic to us starting the show, and then how it's built. We've been able to offer a lot of opportunity to comics that probably would have never even myself. I didn't think we would be successful this quickly. So, that says something about says something about the San Jose community, but also the comedian community in the Bay Area. We're not necessarily the most tight-knit group, but I think folks are generous and thankful, and that makes things easier. You know what I mean? So you got to keep it going. Yeah,
100%.
I'm gonna come check it out. The open mic, man. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, find me on my social medias, Mr. Ato, Ato Walker. You know, don't spell my name wrong, people. It's Ato, A-T-O.
Not you.
Walker. Okay, there's Ato
Ato
Walker.
Walker.
Yeah, not Ato.
Ato Walker.
Ato, say it. Say it with me now.
Ato.
There we go. Thank you.
Man, thank you again for coming out, bro. It was a lot of fun, man. My face is still hurting from laughing. This has been great. Like I said, we'll be in touch.
Yeah, for sure.
Do some more of this. Anybody, any last fucking sports trivia? We might open up a can of worms with that one.
Appreciate you, Atu. Thank you so much for the shout out to the San Jose Improv.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to you, man. Like it was fun to see him open up for one of the greatest comedians of all time, Eddie Griffin. That was a fun night. Yeah. So
that was dope.
Congratulations to you, bro.
Appreciate y'all.
You did that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Did you tell him any of your sports stories when you were backstage with him?
No, I just listened to him talk. I listened to him talk about God.
Hey, Atu, thanks again, bro. Appreciate it. That's been the Voice Party,
and we're out.
Oh, I gotta